Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Hafiz Rachmad Fikri. I am a student of Mechanical Engineering di Ponorogo University, 2017 batch. In this time, I will present my presentation about Polytetrafluoroethylene (PTFE) on frying pan. In this presentation, there are several topics. First, introduction, and then the material of the product, material properties, how to make the material, and the last is advantages and disadvantages of the material. The first, introduction. Polytetrafluoroethylene (PTFE), or commonly called as Teflon in marketing, widely used in frying pans for several reasons, one of which is not sticky. We always talking about Teflon, frying pan Teflon. Did we know what is Teflon exactly? Teflon is a polymer composed of the monomer tetrafluoroethane. Teflon are heat resistant, very stable, small friction, flexible, and very hard. Teflon are used for tools that are resistant to chemicals, such as chemical tank coatings and non-stick frying pan coating. There are many parts of frying pan: long handle, aluminum base, and then Teflon non-stick. With all of that part, which part could be Teflon? Teflon on the frying pan is used on the surface of the frying pan that is contact with the food. Basically, Teflon is used as a coating for the basic material of a frying pan, so that it doesn't stick with the food when used. Why Teflon used as a frying pan coating? We can look from the material properties of Teflon. There are several material properties, but I only discuss about mechanical properties and thermal properties. The data of material properties and thermal properties I took from MathWeb. MathWeb is a web that provides material properties data. First, mechanical properties. There are proper hardness, SOR A hardness, SOR D hardness, ultimate tensile strength, elongation at break, flexural modulus, Poisson ratio, Z impact, coefficient of friction dynamic, coefficient of friction static, K wear factor, limiting pressure velocity, and then Tabor abrasion. And then thermal properties. Why I choose this to discuss the thermal properties too? Because frying pan Teflon used to cook, so the thermal properties is important things to discuss. The thermal properties is CTA linear, specific heat capacity, thermal conductivity, melting point. The Teflon melting point is about 317 until 337 degrees Celsius. Minimum surface temperature, maximum surface temperature, flammability, and oxygen index. how to make the materials. Before we know the how to make the material, we should know the basic material of the Teflon. The basic material of a Teflon or polytetrafluoroethylene (PTFE) is a solid fluorocarbon because the molecular weight of compound consists entirely of carbon and fluorine. Both water and water-containing substance or oil and oil-containing substance are weighed by PTFE, as fluorocarbons show reduced London dispersion force due to high electronegativity of fluorine. PTFE has one of the lowest coefficient of friction concerning any solid. After we know the basic material of the Teflon, now we can know how to make the material. There are two ways to make the Teflon. The first is suspension polymerization and then dispersion polymerization. The first, suspension polymerization. In this method, the TFE is polymerized in water, resulting in grains of PTFE. The PTFE grains stick together, forming small pellets. However, PTFE may be sold in bulk already pre-molded into so-called bills, which are solid cylinder or of PTFE. The second way is dispersion polymerization. The polymerization of PTFE by the dispersion method leads to either fine powder or a paste-like substance, which is more useful for coating and finish. TFE is introduced into a water-filled reactor along with the initiating chemical TFE. Some of the air will be reduced by filtering or adding chemicals. The result is a milky substance called PTFE dispersion. After all we discussed before, we should know the advantages and disadvantages of using frying pan to cook. The first is we discuss about the advantages. The advantages, we use Teflon frying pan is not sticky when cooking. This is the most important things why we use the Teflon frying pan. When we cook something, it will not stick between the frying pan and the food. The second is reducing the use of cooking oil or high-fat margarine. The third is easy to clean on the equipment after use, because Teflon has properties that is not sticky when we use it, so that we can clean the equipment easily because that is not sticky. That is advantages. The disadvantages of using Teflon is the Teflon is easy to scratch and peel off, and then we use it to cook something. This peel layer, when mixed with food, is very dangerous because the Teflon is scratched and peel off. It will mix between the Teflon and the food. It is very dangerous. Therefore, the chemicals in the non-stick coating contain various dangerous metals such as mercury and POVA, which are carcinogens. The Teflon that peel off will mix with the foods, and then the food we will eat it, and this is very dangerous for us. Okay, Maybe that's all from me. I'm sorry for my mistake. Thank you for your attention. And the last, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.